Hello and welcome to the Kyrie Irving episode of the Hoop Theory Podcast, aka episode 111, which is in honor of him being the first pick in the 2011 NBA draft, and also he just so happens to wear the jersey number 11. Recording this one on the evening of Tuesday, April 1st, in the year of our Lord 2025. My name is Logan Wertman, and as usual, I'm joined by my tasteful co-host, Jacob Roth. Jacob, how does it feel to be on the Kyrie Irving episode?
Feels good. I've had a weird relationship with Kyrie over the years. I didn't when he came to Boston, it was cool. Like, we had a superstar finally, because the Jays weren't quite there yet. And then obviously it didn't work out. And I was out on the Kyrie thing kind of before a lot of people were. I'm like, he's never there. And we kind of play worse when he is around. Maybe we just let Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum develop. That ended up being the most correct sentence I could have said on accident. I didn't think it would turn into what it did, being them both all-NBA guys a lot of the time. Obviously, Jaylen Brown's a lot more in and out of that than Jason Tatum is. But
they won you a championship.
They won a championship, and there's a chance we could maybe get another one before they're all done. I would like to think that those odds are probably pretty good.
No, for sure.
Comparatively, obviously, not above 50%, but comparatively to other duos in the NBA. Anyway, this doesn't matter. But then I really didn't like him a lot. And then I feel like everyone kind of piled on him way more than they should have. And I was like, hold on. We're acting like he's not good at basketball.
Yeah.
He's still really good. We should calm down just a skosh. And then kind of starting, it was really their playoff run, or that, because the Mavs playoff run started 10 games in the regular season with 10 games left. Kind of honestly right now-ish, because they needed to win to get a good for seeding and all that, so they kind of turned it on later in the late regular season. And Kyrie was playing really good defense and was doing a really nice job of using the fresh legs in terms of as a playmaker with how they were doing that rotation at the center position. He was constantly keeping those guys hot by getting them involved in the offense. Obviously, then working around Luka being what Luka is, and it was just, he'd grown on me a lot, because he almost turned into just a super good, not pure point guard, because then sometimes he would score 45. It was this weird thing, and it was just I'm glad that Kyrie is I've moved past that weird angry at Boston thing, or angry because of what he did
to Boston. Yeah,
air quotes. Did. He didn't really do anything. It was weird. I was I'm coming back next year if you'll have me, and then was I want to leave. It was what? Okay, whatever. I get, that's weird. Weird energy there, guy.
He's kind of the king of weird energy, I feel like.
But I feel like it's a lot better now. It's normal weird energy now.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. It's a lot less
I feel like he went from
destructive.
I don't know if I want to be in a room alone with you when you're talking about this stuff. And now I feel like he's just chick on a dating app that likes rocks and tells you that rocks have power. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've never been on a dating app, but you always hear jokes about chicks that like rocks. I feel he's that type of weird now.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you say something and he goes, let me guess, you're a Gemini or whatever. I feel that's a Kyrie thing also. Not that he does that exactly, but he has the same weird energy of that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I'm the two fishes.
Pisces? Is that what that is?
Yes. That is what I am.
Nice.
Fun fact.
I think I'm a Leo, I want to say.
Oh, there you go. I know Cancer is one of them.
Yeah, that is one of them. Yeah.
There's Aquarius.
Yeah.
I think.
Anyways.
I don't know if I can name all of them. This is completely useless and pointless. I'm a fan of Kyrie. He's not one of my guys.
Yeah, that's
how we will, at some point, probably in the offseason, we'll do a Hoop Theory our guys draft.
For sure.
But
it needs to happen.
I wouldn't take Kyrie.
Yeah, he won't be on the
for
board.
a long time. Like, this would have to be a baseball draft of like 70 rounds. Even then, I don't know if I'm touching the Kyrie stick.
Mm-hmm. The Kyrie stick, that feels like something he owns, honestly.
The Kyrie, it's like kind of like Kanye without the fascism.
Yeah,
because Kanye is a crazy human.
No,
we
yeah,
need to get back to basketball.
For sure. But I guess start off this episode, we do want to talk about coaches because of the kind of craziness that went down recently for those who are following the NBA. Taylor Jenkins getting fired mid-season by the Grizzlies right before the playoffs. Just kind of a really weird timing, and also a coach that in recent years, at least, I feel like has done a great job. And even this season, in the beginning of the season, they just had way better of a stretch than they should have, considering how healthy they were and whatnot. But yeah, it's just so that we'll go into that. We'll talk about our coaches, like kind of tier list type of thing to just kind of dive into that. But first, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Please be sure to hit us up on Patreon or buy me a coffee if you would like to support us. That's patreon.com/hoop theory and buymeacoffee.com/hoop theory. All of our links can also be found in the description of both the show and the episode, wherever you're watching or listening to this. We would also greatly appreciate it if you would rate the show, leave a like or a comment. Of course, be sure to subscribe and follow the feed. And lastly, we would also love it if you sent something into our mailbag for us to read and react to. Basketball related or otherwise, you can send those over to hooptheory.mailbag@gmail.com. And without further ado, we can dive into our coaching tiers. And so the reason why this kind of started is because, we were texting when the news dropped about Taylor Jenkins, and I was just kind of shocked about it. I think I texted you, I'm like, he's a good coach. Like, I'm not crazy. He's like a really good basketball coach. Like, this is insane. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like to think he is. There's some, I guess the Grizzlies fans, there's a lot of them at least that didn't agree with that towards the end. But I think mostly the thing it got blamed on was him losing the locker room and whatnot, which I guess that if I had to say what his weakness was as a coach prior to all this would probably be that, like the, motivating or like the being like a speaker to, a group of guys that has them all buy in type, that type of coaching is probably the area that I didn't see necessarily him as like a savant at, necessarily kind of like the Brad Stevens type of dynamic. So I guess that's not too surprising, but overall, like I said, if that trade never happened, the Luka trade, then this would be like the biggest surprise of the year for basketball moves, honestly.
I like scrolled back to find your exact wording, and you're like, absolutely. When I asked, like, I'm not crazy, he's a really good coach. You're like, yeah, absolutely. This would be the most surprising basketball ops move in the past 3 years if it were not for the Luka trade. Like, and it's more the timing that, like, if I get at the end of the year, they're like, okay, he's kind of losing, but like, why just do it now? It just feels weird. It does
feel really weird. And like a couple of his assistants also got the can. That was also weird. Noah LaRoche was one of them, and I think one of Patrick St. Andrews, I think, was the guy's name.
I'm gonna have to listen to the mismatch like once.
Yeah,
because I haven't. I do want to. I feel like Verno's take on it might be worth listening to. Just I don't know if I'll listen to it regularly. Just dabble.
Which the article I was reading about Noah LaRoche, that assistant who got the can also, it was saying that the new offense that they implemented this year was his brainchild. But then another place was saying that it's the new guy that's the interim, which I already forgot his name. I was just reading it before. The guy from Finland.
Tomas?
Aselo, I think. Yeah, Tomas is his first name, or Tuomas, or however you pronounce it. But Aselo, I think, is the guy's name. I heard somebody credit him with that, offensive reimagining of NBA offense, how it works and everything. That motion style that involved like no pick and roll at all or triple handoff, which is like the two main cogs of every offense in the NBA, feels like. So, that's just like an interesting development. Like I kind of always just kind of credited, Taylor Jenkins with that, which he for sure does deserve some credit to a certain extent, just because he He is the guy that ultimately has the go-ahead of delegating something like that to an assistant. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if like how much like stuff that happens you can attribute to an assistant like Silo. I'm gonna forget his name every time I try to say it. Their new interim, but he also is brand new. I think this past season was when they brought him over. Like so. I don't know.
No, because of how insane this was, I thought Taylor Jenkins did something terrible, and they had to get him out of the... did not think this was a basketball move. I thought this was like a real-life move. Not that I think Taylor Jenkins is going to do terrible. I just was like, none of this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's going to be some sort of... I mean, Ime Udoka type of, like, conspiracy around it, of like... Oh, it can't just be firing him. He's way too good of a coach for that.
Yeah.
Like, especially now, just in the middle of nothing.
Yeah, right before the playoffs start, when they're in the playoff picture.
They're in the playoff picture. There's, like, a chance that they get, like, a favorable matchup, could win a round. Like, what is going on?
They've been sliding a ton. So I think it was, like, a panic move, because since the All-Star break, I think they have won a single game, just one game against over 500 teams.
But I believe I read a thing where they also, I think, had like the hardest schedule post All-Star break.
That
or
also makes
something
sense.
like that.
Mm-hmm. That could very well be the case. And a lot of those games that they've been losing have been really close. I think they lost 3 games in a row on buzzer beaters. This season, there was 3 games in a row that they lost on buzzer beater game winners.
Oof, that would hurt.
Yeah. So those are kind of they're very like coin toss type of games there at the end, but this just kind of sparked something in me where I was like, if you were to ask me point blank before this whole thing went down, who in the league that I think are just like a good coach, like no question, like Jenkins would have been very close to the top of that list. Like I think there's only really 2 guys that I would unarguably put over him, and that would be Eric Spoelstra and Mark Daigneault.
Yeah.
But then after that, I think Jenkins is just as good of a pick as anybody.
There's like a weird like 3-4 man race for that like third spot, air quote. And, like, Jenkins is a very reasonable person to put in that spot. I put him in that spot. Like, I, like, thought, even though last year was terrible, like, they played 36 different players.
Yep.
There's only 5 NBA players on the court at one time, and they were in the 30s. Like, 30 different names were on the back of Memphis Grizzlies jerseys last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they still, like, won 20-something games, didn't they?
Yeah, all the while they were like having Jaren Jackson Jr. play an entirely different role than he ever had. And then they used that development to roll over into this season where it was actually implemented in a winning style. And it was like, that was just a good idea, to do that last season so that you would have that weapon this season.
The thing that also gets me before we jump into the tier list with this Grizzlies thing, remember the last time like an offensive wizard kid that was an assistant coach got hired by a team? It didn't go well. Jordan in Indiana, like it went super badly. Granted, he was going to a new system, so like the guys weren't familiar with him, so that makes it a little bit different. But like I feel like, as you brought up, like a lot of Memphis people are very excited about this. Maybe we should pump the brakes a little bit. Like we don't know. Granted, out of nowhere coaches don't happen. Like assistants getting promoted does work out a lot. I mean, that's how most head coaches happen. Yeah. Like Will Hardy, who is a guy that's also in the top third, in my opinion, of like coaches you'd want to have if you started a franchise today. I mean, JJ Redick's like the weird exception of where he just kind of came out of nowhere for no reason. Everyone else comes up as an assistant. I'm just skeptical of like, oh, this is for sure going to work really well. Especially with those, like, he's not the only one that came up with this new offense that's working. It was, like, multiple people. Makes it even less, like...
At least there's, like, split reporting on who it actually was. I don't know.
Which means that, like it's not a definitive, like, he came up with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just weird to me. Everything about it's weird to me. This is a thing you do if you're the Suns and you have a guy that you really like. This is a thing you do if you're, like, just not the Grizzlies. You were the 3 seed at one point. Like, yeah. And there's still a world if they get stuff figured out, which, granted, doesn't look like they're going to at all. It would make me laugh if they just don't make the playoffs.
I think that's impossible at this point. I mean, unless you're saying they go to the play-in and then lose both games in the play-in.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That is definitely a possibility. But I don't think they definitely can't fall out of the 10 seed. That's for sure. They're the 5 seed right now. I think the farthest they can fall is the 9 seed if they were to lose out.
I have them as the 6 seed.
Maybe I just need to refresh the page. I've had this up for a few minutes. Maybe a game has ended.
Or maybe I need to refresh my page.
They're a game ahead of the Warriors. Or a half a game.
They are a half game behind. What is the Warriors' record on your screen?
43-31.
They are 44-31. So, spoiler.
Their game must have ended and gotten them a win, but it's not updated on my... I've updated 3 times and it still says 43-31, but interesting.
It does. Okay, anyway.
I'm sure that they have won. Yeah.
They're in a weird knotted battle where the difference between the 5 seed and the 8 seed is a game. It's a one game from 19 to 20 games back from the Thunder. That's the whole range of the 5 seed down to the 8 seed. And with how they're sliding, it makes you wonder if, like, they'll end up the 8 seed probably, and then if they can't win a game, then they're not in the playoffs.
They have to win 1 out of 2 games to make it in at that point.
And there's no world they're beating the Clippers if that happens. There's, like, I don't think so. The Clippers, I thought, have been playing well as of recent.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet on the Clippers, that's for sure. But anything can happen.
Not anything is possible with Demetrius, Ja Morant.
Demetrius Jamel.
Morant.
Yeah. Junior. Yeah. No, for sure. I think that I would definitely take the Clippers, though. That's for sure. But just to correct what I said before, I said that they could fall to as far as the 9 seed, but that's actually where they would not be able to fall below the 8, actually, because the Mavericks have 37 wins at the 9 spot, which is a full 6.5 behind the Clippers at 8.
So they'd have to go perfect with the remaining games left, and that won't happen, and then the Grizzlies would have to lose literally every game, and that won't happen, probably.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough about the Grizzlies specifically. I'm sure we'll touch on Jenkins a little bit more when we actually do the tier list, but I just wanted to get my skepticism out there now, because I'm just not convinced it's going to be great. No,
for sure. I don't think that any time you make a move like this that you can be very sure about it. And I don't know. I would like to hear somebody explain to me the thought or the positive idea about doing it at this time. Like, what good could that bring? I want to hear that.
The only thing is you give him a little bit more time in the season to kind of work. You get game time to try to work through stuff. But I'm you could do games that don't matter. There's a lot of those. Early regular season, let them figure out what's my leadership style need to be? Not let's say hypothetically they're able to, they drop down to the 8 seed. They got to go into the new Clippers place. They lose. Let's say they get into the playoffs. You got to go to OKC. No one's learning there as a first-time head coach in Chesapeake Arena or Energy.
Paycom Center. It used to be Chesapeake a long time ago.
Well, it was a better world then. I don't know.
I think in 2021 or something like that, it changed to Paycom.
It just seems stupid to me to do it. It's just stupid. There's I tried to play devil's advocate. That's how I started this sentence. And it turned into just more confusion. I tried to be this makes sense a little bit. No, it's whatever. It's dumb.
Yeah. No,
Taylor
for sure.
Jenkins will have a job.
No, yeah,
unless he did do something terrible and they're covering it up, he will have a job.
Yeah, I think that he definitely will have a job next year. But maybe
my vote is for the Suns. I feel like that is great because this man makes money out of manure, and with the cap space disaster that is the Phoenix Suns, he's going to have to cook with a lot of guys that thought they were going to be in the G League. And I feel like, obviously, the top-end talent is not G League level talent, but there's some guys that are going to be like...
Yeah, and who knows what the Suns even look like next year. I doubt That's KD's true. On the roster. But
the one thing, though, if Brad Beal wants to be there, he will be there.
Yes, that is true.
That is an uncontestable fact.
Yeah. But I guess the other thing that I will say, though, as you were answering my question, I kind of thought of an answer to it as well, with the reason why they might want to do this move right now to give a little bit of runway here at the end of the season, basically as like a job interview for their interim guy, because they don't know if they want to give him the coaching job next season or not, So they're kind of giving him a little stretch here to see if he's a good coach or if they want to continue what he started, in this stretch.
Yeah. But then, who are you going to go get that's better? That's what confuses me. Is the names of the people that are above him definitively, it's a very short list, and neither of them are going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess.
At this point, Spoelstra feels more Miami Heat than Pat Riley does. He just is Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra is. He's not going anywhere ever.
For sure.
Then Dagnall obviously is younger, hasn't been there as long, but he might be coming off an NBA championship. This isn't Dwayne Casey. There's no way that he's leaving.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. I agree. I just think that there's sometimes, it's not about, it's just the right coach for the right situation. It's not necessarily going to be a better coach, but it's just because he gets the ear of the locker room on his side and whatnot. I don't know.
I just don't know if you get close.
Yeah.
That's what, if it's close and it's a better fit, that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't know. Anyway, we can get into the tier list now.
It'd be tough for sure.
Yeah.
So my top tier, I have Spo and Dagnall and maybe Jenkins. Jenkins, I kind of have him hovering between the top tier and the second tier. Who did you have in your top tier? Just so we go back and forth.
I have Spo in his own tier.
That's fair.
Dagnall, Jenkins, and I have Ty Lue. It kind of is where you had Jenkins teetering in between my tier and the tier below it.
Those are three tiers for you then, or there's a third tier that Ty Lue's teetering between.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Because I put Spo, he's just on a different level. But for the ease of I could just put do it the exact same way. My elite tier, my top tier is Spoelstra, Dagnall, Jenkins, with Ty Lue with a foot in both camps.
That's fair. Ty Lue's definitely one of my top guys on the next tier, which I have him, Udoka. I got JJ Redick in this tier as well. Will Hardy. I should have put their full names. I almost said Tom Hardy when I read Hardy. Will Hardy, Joe Mazzulla, Kenny Atkinson, Chris Finch, and just because it's a ceremonial or kind of forever pick, I put Gregg Popovich onto this tier. Even though he hasn't coached a game in several months now. It's been quite a while.
Yeah. I have almost an identical tier, except I have Udoka teetering in between the two again.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. So you have Mazzulla, though, on that tier also?
I do have Mazzulla on that tier.
Okay.
And then also, and the thing that I struggle with, because with a lot of these coaches, there's for example, in his current because you said the prompt of, if you had to go start a team, fresh, what coach do you want?
Yeah.
But, your guy, Michael Malone, I don't know if I want him. He's a great coach. I think he's in that tier. But if you're going to a fresh place, I don't know if he's the guy I want. But in the situation he's in now, I don't think there's a coach that could probably coach the Nuggets better than him. He's almost... there is obviously in a vacuum someone could coach him better, but just the way that he's able to the relationships he has with the Nuggets, I feel he's also very...
That's huge for sure.
And you would need a coach that is kind of aggressive at the media, because none of your players are.
Other than Jamal. But Jamal's never in the right way, though. It's usually in just an embarrassing way for him. But
like Jokic will never be. He'll just be like, okay.
Yeah.
He's had a couple moments where he gets like, that was weird. Leave me and my children alone. Don't take pictures of me. I love the Dinosaur Museum interview.
Yeah, and
Wait, you guys were there?
He spoke that entire sentence that you just said without ever saying anything. Like he just kind of gave that message through his eyes. Like I think all he did was like kind of shake his head and smile. Like I don't even think he said anything, which is kind of hilarious how much he can convey with just like
but
his
anyway,
face.
So I have Malone in the next tier, but I feel like there's some guys that like in the right situation are like a higher tier than they would be if I needed them to go start their own franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And we also talked about this when we were texting. I'm probably lower on Mazzulla than you are and higher on Malone because we haven't watched hundreds of games of them coaching.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And also I just think personality-wise, like I think your philosophies are just more like Malone and mine
Closer.
are more Mazzulla. Yeah, not perfect, but
if I could have a Mazzulla ball with the like, guys, this is bad, let's call timeout and let's not wait until it's a 7-point game to put the starters back in. Mm-hmm. If I could have that, I'd be pumped.
Mazzulla ball meaning just like the drive and kick stuff? Is that what you mean?
Drive, kick, defense. The defense has gone away, which irritates me sometimes. I shouldn't say gone away, but like, we were the best defense in the NBA. We also were the best offense. And the offense has stayed. We're a very good offense still, but the defense is just kind of like sometimes there.
Yeah.
And I get that a lot of our pieces
I think
that
those
made
were kind of
defense,
two passing ships in the night, weren't they? They weren't ever at the same exact time. You didn't have the best in both.
The year that we lost in 7 in these conference finals, we were like top 2 in both.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Which I still think that if I could change anything.
Also, that's like every year when you lost in 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. That didn't mean anything to me. Which year was that?
The Heat year.
Oh, 23. Okay.
If I could, like, I would cut off an arm, maybe. If I could build a time machine and make it so, and just give ephemeral support via telepathic abilities to Jason Tatum's ankle so he doesn't roll it on the very first offensive play of that game.
Oh, I thought you were talking about recently now, because then he just rolled his ankle again.
Oh, that's why I lost in my fantasy. I'm mad about that, but that's whatever. No, I'm talking about in that game 7.
Yeah.
Why are we here? We're talking about coaches.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Back to the topic. My top tier, obviously we talked about that. I have like the same people. It's Mazzulla, Hardy, Atkinson, Finch. I have Redick at the end of it because I still am unsure. I think he's doing a lot of things right. And then also because I didn't know where to put him, I also have Popovich on this tier because he got worse. But he's like Gregg Popovich, so I don't. Yeah. I'm not going to put him in the above average category. That feels so wrong.
Yeah, there's times I feel like he's slipped quite a bit because of like his philosophies are just a little bit more in the past. But then there's other times where he tries things that I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually a good idea. And that's like showing that he's still able to. It's like an old guy who's still getting into new music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like he's still with the times. He's still like able to like learn new things and like shift how which has always kind of been his strength. I feel like has been like that he is given a roster and he doesn't force necessarily the roster into situations. He kind of makes a new game plan around the roster.
Except for he tried to force Jeremy Sohan to turn into Draymond Green. That's like the only thing where he's like, I'm going to make you do this. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, that whole season, I feel like, is almost every decision made.
I thought that was the end. I thought that was the end. I really thought that it was just over. But then it wasn't.
I don't think any of those decisions were win now decisions. You know what I mean? Like
no, for sure.
I'm not necessarily defending them as like that was the best
right
pick
decision
in long term either. But at least I understood the thought of that being a developmental experiment.
Choice. Yeah.
It was an interesting one, that's for sure. But yeah.
Didn't happen if anyone was wondering.
It didn't end up working out. I think I'm pretty sure Jeremy Sohan's season high on assists this year is 5. So
that's pretty good. It's 5 more than I'll ever have.
It's just funny. Like I was going through a list. I was playing this game where you have to guess if they've had more than 7 or whatnot. And like all these players, like Jakob Poeltl had 8 or 9. And again,
Yeah, dude.
like just guys like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like Sohan, literally a guy last season that was playing point guard, had 5. But anyways, Mazzulla though, I actually have him higher. Like he's bordering. I was considering him actually putting him on the same tier as Jenkins, up with Dagnall and Spo.
Like the hover in between the two tiers tier.
Yeah, exactly. Just because, I just really think that he knows he has like a good sense of basketball philosophies, modern schemes and stuff like that. I like his willingness to like kind of try new things, but also his kind of dead set on like he's got this process, and even if the process isn't looking great at the moment, he's like in an admirable way sticking to that process and getting everybody bought into it. Mm-hmm. Which I think is a skill for sure. And I do think that he's just kind of unapologetically him in a way that is admirable as well. And also I just think that he can basically say anything he wants to any of his players and they can receive it, more than most guys can.
No, because they know that he like genuinely wants them to be the greatest people that have ever breathed. Mm-hmm. And so there's no like, and it's like, hey, I'm glad that you didn't get this super cool thing. Yeah. Because it's going to make you better. Mm-hmm. Like Jason Tatum's the one that you automatically think of. He was like, "I'm glad that they treated you wrong in the Olympics." I think is like, what like,
and that you didn't win Finals MVP. Yeah,
just which is like what, but they like know because of who he is. Honestly, I think Joe Mazzulla is my perfect coach. Just call timeouts 15% earlier. That's all, 10% earlier. Just ever so like, let's call a timeout when the team that we were up by 22 on cuts the lead to 10 instead of 7. Mm-hmm. That's when we call the timeout, send the Trace Leches to the bench, and bring out the Jays. Let's do it then instead of when it's only a 7-point game.
Yeah. I kind of do. I've always kind of agreed with him too on that front. Like Letting
players learn, figure it out.
Yeah, that, but also just the fact that you have such an advantage in a live ball situation, and calling a timeout typically is giving an advantage to the other team. And like, there's some times where you got to pull it out, like for sure, like coaches know when to use it, when it's like, I know that obviously stopping the game right now doesn't necessarily help us, but there's something that's going wrong and we need to redirect things, Yeah. That type of thing. Where Mazzulla, I think he wants his team to get used to being able to make those shifts and make those redirections like on the fly, which I understand. And like if you were able to master something like that as a team, that would be insane. I just kind of want to see what the capabilities are, like the maximum capacity of what a team like that
if
is.
Every player has like almost like a baby coach ingrained in their ear of knowing like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do because we've already done it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, I get that. And I feel like that's kind of talking about other guys in the tier. Like Will Hardy also kind of not near the same amount, but all those guys that interact with Brad Stevens kind of have that same, like, the guys need to figure it out like a little bit. Like we can't just call a timeout all the time. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes it just goes on too long and it makes me very mad.
Yeah. That's definitely
But I'd imagine if I don't care how the game ends, you could be like, dude, that's awesome. That like, because come playoff time, when you really don't want to give your team a disadvantage, let them figure it out. And who cares if the other team's on a 8-0 run? Let them just get settled and figure it out because they can. Because they're better. Oh, and that's another thing. I don't want to see it because of what it would mean, but I'm excited to see when Mazzulla's coaching not a insanely over-the-top orchestrated roster. Like when there's like holes that he has to coach around.
Yeah, that's definitely a luxury that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to play anybody that can't shoot. Even is like a pretty insane luxury.
Yeah,
but on top of that, he's got like several all-stars.
No, and again, I never want to see that happen because that means the Celtics are not as good. But it would be interesting to see like how it works if he only has the Jays and like everyone else has gone off and gotten paid somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
there's
he
no
has to
Derrick
kind of
White
cobble together.
Porzingis. Yeah.
I hope that if you have to make a big three with the new budget thing, I've been like torn on who I want the third one to be. I think I really want it to be Derrick White, like a lot. I think it's Derrick White or KP. I'm not quite sure, like which one I can like. All of them, ideally, but I just don't think that's going to be feasible with the CBA. Anyway.
No, I get that. I would probably pick Derrick White, honestly, just because of the health factor.
And the vibes. And just the vibes.
Yeah.
Other than he randomly crapped on my precious Nebraska Cornhuskers. They did one of those, like, they, like, had a stack of jerseys for him to sign, and they, like, slip in your college rival. So, like, Jason Tatum had a UNC one. And then being all businessman, like, he's like, UNC's trash, but they're not that bad because they wear my shoes. I guess they wear Jason Tatum's shoes because he's Jordan.
Oh, really?
I guess there's some of them that wear his shoes.
See. Gotcha.
And so then he was like all nice about it, and then they had a like Georgia thing for Al Horford to sign. He's like, I'm not doing that. And then a Stanford one for Jaylen Brown, and then they had Derrick White, and everyone else was kind of like polite, like I'm not signing that. Derrick White just goes weak ass Nebraska and then like throws it. I'm like, what did we ever do to you?
He literally went to the but it was a Buffs game. Yeah. I was about to say
Colorado, Nebraska with Shireman.
But he was at Memorial Stadium.
I was also there.
Yeah.
I wish I would have been such a loser. I would have I don't think I could get starstruck, but Derrick White would have done it too. I would have been like, can I see the tooth? I'm sure it was probably fixed by then, but yeah, that would have been cool. I did see Bud Crawford when we went to that game because he led them out of the tunnel. I ran into Bud Crawford before the game and took pictures.
Oh, really? Wow, yeah. I didn't even hear that.
Anyway, but yeah.
But Derrick White, though, I'm surprised that he has that much disdain for Nebraska.
He grew up in Colorado. I think that's probably a lot of it. I
guess I didn't know that. I feel like that relationship is a little bit one-sided. I mean, we don't like Colorado, but I don't feel like they're like I don't know. I just don't feel like they're that important to us that we would be.
Because we're not in the same conference anymore.
Yeah, that's
but we kind of beat the crap out of them like all the time. So like their only like happy moments are when they upset us, like in their entire collective football history. Obviously, basketball we have nothing to be like proud of. Other than that one time in 2008. Did we ever play each other
in basketball?
When we were both in the Big 12, for sure.
Yeah, but did Derrick White ever play against Nebraska when he was at Colorado?
No, probably not.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of interesting that's the best school they could. Well, yeah,
who else would Colorado be?
I just feel like they would be a better pick for a team that he's at least like had as an adversary.
He had a very visceral reaction, so I think they did fine.
It's just surprising to me, I guess. But anyways, the
out of Celtics corner. Sorry.
Next tier that I have is probably my smallest tier, actually. That spoke too soon. The last tier that I have, the bottom tier, is the smallest tier I have. This one is pretty small, though, as well. It's only 3 names. I have Jamal Mosley, Quinn Snyder, and Tom Thibodeau kind of is in this tier. He's bordering on this tier and the tier below again for me.
I am not the same in this one, really at all. I have a much larger tier here. So Michael Malone and Ime are kind of hovering here.
Okay.
Like in between the other, or am I off a tier?
This is my 3rd, so that should be your 4th. If you're putting Spo in his own.
I cut out Spo, so we're on the same number now.
Okay.
So we have my 3rd. It's Ime and Mike Malone at the top of it, kind of just because of their situation. I think Ime is also just a better. I could probably honestly bump him up. But then I also have Mosley, Snyder. I have don't let me say it. Hold on. I got scared that I'm going to say the wrong first 2 letters.
Of the name?
It is JB. JB Bickerstaff. I also have on this tier. My brain thought JD, and I'm like, that's not right. That's totally wrong. Okay. He's on this tier. Jamal Mosley is also on this tier. And that's the end. I've made a gut decision. That is the end of the tier.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. We're pretty. I feel like my 3rd tier and my 4th tier with you are going to be kind of the same, just like meshed around.
I have
between
no
those two
real
tiers.
genuine opinions about most of them.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, yeah.
For some reason, I see Mosley and Snyder for sure above the ginormous blob of names.
Why Bickerstaff not in your tier?
Just because of the way things ended with the Cavs was not great. Like literally, it had very disappointing stretch with like this team that is doing what they're doing this whole season is kind of like a little bit of
But then I would say on the flip side, what he's now doing with the team, they're like doing the opposite. Like a team that was
the coach that they did have would be the very last name on this list if he was still employed. And like was actively just destroying any chance that they had at winning some. Like I thought that team, I blocked the over on them for winning 28 and a half games. I thought they would be in the 30s for wins. And they start off the season 2-29.
Yeah.
That's just, I felt like there was a team there that a decent coach could unlock, you know? So I do think that what he's done in Detroit this season has brought him up for me from where it ended last season, for sure, but not to the insane degree that like, because I'm like, something was already there. I feel like there's a lot of coaches that could have fixed that situation.
He's cultivated a culture, though.
Yeah,
for sure. I love it. Mm-hmm. I know that some people don't like it because it's aggressive or whatever, but that fight against the T-Wolves was awesome.
Yeah.
And you know who started it? My guy draft, near the top, Ron Holland was there. Yeah. Then he got like pulled off by DiVincenzo, and then Beef Stew came in. Big Stew, Isaiah Stewart just started executing people. Yeah. Oh man,
that was just.
He's also the only one that got 2 games because in the NBA's thing is he quote escalated the altercation.
He definitely did that. There's no argument against that.
I just love it. I just feel like no one can like if a team were to try to like Jordan rules Cade Cunningham, people would die. Like you are like in like almost like a comical bad movie sense of like it's just a bunch of bodyguards waiting to rough up anyone that touches Cade Cunningham or Malik Beasley. They're just ready to kill someone.
I think I would throw Malik Beasley in the group of they're ready to rough up people, to be honest.
But
he pointed an AK-47 at a family in a car. Remember that? Why he was in prison for a while? Or AR-15, I think. It was an assault rifle in an apartment complex. Yeah. Right after he left the Nuggets. A fully loaded van is just trying to enter an apartment complex, and he, for some reason, thinks they're trying to do something up to nefarious.
Never heard of this.
And he's out on his balcony with an assault rifle, pointing it at him. This happened, yeah. I think he was also under the influence of some substances, but at least I heard from everywhere that it was an assault rifle. I feel like there's also a lot of people that have no idea about guns at all that just call everything an assault rifle. You know what I mean?
He, quote, walked up to their vehicle, tapped on the window, and pointed a gun at them and advised them to get off of the property. Yeah. As the victims drove away, Beasley was observed holding a gun up to his shoulder, pointing it at their vehicle. It does not say currently on this article I'm reading what the gun was.
But at least it was not a handgun because he was holding it up to his shoulder.
It was...
that's just not how you would describe holding a handgun, I feel like. Holding it up to your shoulder.
To shoulder it. Yeah, you definitely can only shoulder a shotgun and or rifle. It was a rifle.
Yeah.
It was a rifle. It could be a hunting rifle for all we know.
Yeah. Could be. I've heard from a couple places. I think it was an assault rifle, but who knows? Anyways, I was just throwing that out there as this is a guy that's tried to rough up some people before in some insane ways, not on a basketball court even, for much less feels like. I think
I just love the Pistons culture.
Yeah,
I know some people probably hate it. I just love it because nothing is free. There's no, and like I don't think anyone's safe. Like LeBron's we already saw Isaiah Stewart like almost try to fight LeBron because he like. Granted, if you get like headbutted so hard you bleed, like I feel like I would be really mad too.
Yeah, I think it was his elbow.
Was it an elbow?
Yeah, which is I've always been kind of in both camps on that one because I was like, LeBron, the way LeBron did it looked like it was a complete accident. And
I'm sure it was, but if you didn't see it and you just were like, "Ow, I just got elbowed trying to get this rebound."
Yeah. But
I don't care who it was.
It's crazy that if you caused that much damage, like you had to do it pretty hard. It just did not look that hard, like when you watch the replay of it. But it looked like it caused a lot of damage.
Heads bleed a lot more than other parts of the body. But anyway, I like Bickerstaff-ish. Is he like on your neck, or is he like way down?
He's on the next tier.
Okay, so it's not that far off.
Yeah, he's on my 4th tier. With Chauncey Billups, Nick Nurse, who definitely would have been much higher before this season, I feel like. He has not impressed, even though it's been a terrible situation, a nightmare of a situation. He still has handled it in ways that I think probably just kind of highlight his flaws as a coach in some ways, you know? Like the whole, it sounded like at least he was the one that leaked the players only meeting in which somebody said something to, I think Tyrese Maxey said something to Joel Embiid about how he needs to be on time for things. You know, he got called out for all this stuff. Somebody went around and did trying to hunt down who that anonymous quote was from. And like the phrase that it used, I can't even remember what the saying was, but there was like a little weird saying that was used in that anonymous quote that Nick Nurse says all the time. and like it just kind of made sense for it to be Nick Nurse was the one who leaked this information. But yeah, anyways, that kind of stuff does also, it just seems like that's not the most graceful way to handle situations. But continuing my list though, Billy Donovan is also on this tier. I got Michael Malone, Steve Kerr, Jason Kidd, Rick Carlisle, Willie Green, Doug Christie. I should have prefaced beforehand. This is basically all the coaches in the NBA on this tier. Darko Rajakovic, Brian Keefe, Jordy Fernandez, and Charles Lee are all in my 4th tier.
Yeah. Honestly, almost identical, other than the guys that I've already said.
Okay.
And I have Chauncey Billups a tier below because
I'd surprise. Billups is the literal top of this tier for me. Like I feel like he should be in. Now that I'm looking at it, I have way too many names on the 4th tier, and I feel like I like Billups more than all of them. So I'm putting Billups up in the 3rd tier because the Blazers have been. That is if you want to talk about a culture, like
maybe I'm just not like as in tune with Portland as. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know how many Portland games I've watched. I know I've watched at least one.
Okay, this is like my team, and like our pet teams.
This is like my Kings from a couple years ago.
The Blazers are immensely enjoyable to watch for me, and they are like the best team in the NBA since in the calendar year of 2025. Basically, like if you sort things that way, they're like a literally top 3 seed in the West.
They're like an elite
team. It's kind of crazy. Denny Avdia had a stretch where he looked like 1987 Larry Bird.
I think I remember seeing a clip where he's like, I didn't know I was that good either. This is also news to me. Like, essentially, he was like, I don't know if I'll ever do that again, but it felt really good.
Yeah. Tumani Kamara has been my guy for a while, which I've heard is people kind of been making fun of now as like if you hear anybody say that that's their favorite player or that's their guy or whatever, that's just somebody trying to prove that they know ball or like, you know, something like that. I'm like, no, Tumani Kamara was like my guy before I heard anybody say that was their guy. Like I've loved Tumani Kamara since basically the first time I saw him play. The way he plays is very different compared to a lot of the young prospects entering the league. He's just a guy who wants to do all the dirty work. Like that's all he wants to do. which I admire that. So he's definitely one of my guys. If we're doing a my guys draft, Toumani Camara is like a top 3 pick for me. Dede Avdija is also really high up there. That's for sure. And there's just some other guys on the team that are fun to watch. For some reason, I feel like I'm on Duop Reith Island as well. I don't know if I have any neighbors there, but there's me at least. And then Donovan Clingan, I think that he's a lot better than what he's shown so far this season.
I also think he was just sent to a terrible situation.
Yeah, there's just so many centers on Portland.
I just wish that he was the one that got to go to Memphis, because I feel like what Memphis would ask him to do is exactly what he's going to be in the NBA for a decade doing. And it's like, be like not as good as Rudy Gobert, but like not a liability all the time. Like literally just do that, and offensively give us like a nice catch and hoop sometimes.
Yeah, and he's shooting threes a little bit.
Scoot, my boy Scoot also looks
like
way
not
better.
In like somebody
Anthony
who
Bennett level bust.
Yeah, shouldn't be in the NBA. You know, he's not looking like that.
It's crazy when a guy that can't really shoot threes, they finally let him not throw up a bunch of threes.
Yeah, and
just let him be a bowling ball of aggression.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of it was his own improvements too, though. Like just the way he's playing now, making
grown
reads
into the game.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, being able to leverage his athleticism and stuff like that. Like last year, it was just like, even though he could go downhill, it didn't seem like he was getting any advantages from it or making the right plays once he got, past the first line of the defense. But yeah, all that stuff is definitely looking a lot better this season. And yeah, I like this Blazers team. But anyways, Chauncey Billups, a year ago, I had no idea if he was a good coach, to be honest. But now I'm like, there's definitely something here with the way that he's getting this Portland team to not care about their first round draft pick at all. And for the future of the franchise, I don't know if this is the best. With my philosophies though, I just feel like it's always better when you have like a team that's overachieving and trying and cultivating this culture. I would prefer that. I would take that every time over the Sam Hinkie
poverty program that is the Sixers.
Yeah, the Sixers whole trust the process era. Like that.
Even now,
that feels like a deal with the devil to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no. Even what the Sixers are doing this season, things didn't go great. So it's like Tyrese Maxey's done.
Oh well, I don't blame that all that much because I think they're all actually hurt, and I don't think that trying to make them play through their injuries right now is doing anybody any good.
That's true. I just know that they conveniently stopped right when they started to have a couple of good games and started to pull where they wouldn't keep their first round pick. Odds wise, obviously the lottery could change things and they could still not get it hypothetically. But
I think it's top 6 protected, I want to say.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. So they're
also,
definitely.
If they end up with Cooper Flagg, I'm going to scream. If they just get lucky, I'm going to be so irate. I will break things, most of them being my fingers and toes. I will be so mad. Because there's not a franchise on this planet that deserves it less.
Maybe. Well, who do you like? The fans you're saying, or just everybody involved?
Everyone.
Okay, that's fair. Because I was about to say Wizards, but it's really just them as a franchise. But the fans
don't deserve anything. They don't deserve they don't deserve that much pain. Yes,
exactly.
They don't deserve how their ownership group is treating them.
Yeah, exactly.
The Nets also, I don't feel like the fans deserve this wild roller coaster.
Yeah.
They're like little brother to the Knicks, and they know it. But some of them still go to the Barclays Center regularly.
Yeah.
Everything they've had that's nice has either been broken or wanted to leave.
And this season has been a lot more fun, I feel like, as a Nets fan than a Wizards fan. Because there's at least a lot of stretches that the Nets were looking like they're beating teams and, they were looking good.
Yeah. The Jazz, I'd be okay if they get it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
For sure. That would
Pelicans, honestly.
Vibes-wise, that just fits so well. I don't know why.
I think it's because Philip, he's a lot like Filipowski. You just look at him and you're like, they could be related. And then he's already there.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like Cooper Flagg as a Utah Jazz just feels like that's a match made in heaven. I don't know why. It's just
what I really want to have happen is death to the NBA for a long time. I want him to end up on the Spurs. I just feel like it would be so funny if the Spurs just like run the NBA for an effing decade.
Yeah.
Oh man, Stephon Castle, Cooper Flagg, and Wemby. I mean, they might not win like next year, but they only need a couple years and then they'll start cooking.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, obviously not to the same level as Wemby is, but like I feel pretty confident that Flagg might have some growing pains, but he will end up being a good NBA player. Like that's not.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. At least a good
like,
NBA player.
The bust potential I feel like is very low.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
No, I agree. Especially when you combine like his physical abilities with the IQ and knowledge of the game. It seems like he's a surefire going to be a good NBA player.
Also, his mom is my favorite person ever.
Yeah, big Celtics fan. Did you see
this whole clip? Oh no, it's because they were in Chapel Hill and like he dunked on someone and then she's like tapping and she goes on his effing head.
Yeah. I've seen that.
And then she like did this like apology post on Facebook, but she's like, I'm just kidding. You guys suck. You were very mean to me and my son. He did put it on his effing head and we left with the win. Stay mad. It's awesome.
I didn't see that.
I like the verbiage I changed slightly, but that in essence was like, you're bad and you're terrible people.
Yeah.
I don't even care. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure she had him watch, like as a kid growing up, him and his brothers had them watch like 86 Celtics highlights all the time.
I'd love for that to happen someday, but it's fine. I have too many players that I love that I need to pay. I don't need more.
You wouldn't trade Jaylen Brown for what Cooper Flagg could be?
No.
Really?
In a vacuum, yes. Emotions, no. Not a universe.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's fair. That's
also, I'm rocking my boy today.
Oh, yeah.
For Jaylen Brown jersey. The audio onlys, I'm wearing a Jaylen Brown home jersey because man's due. He's been kind of underappreciated, I feel. Not to the extent of the actual best player on our team, but like he's just like nobody's like giving the man the love that he deserves. And I feel like the playoffs, people are going to be talking about my guy because Ramadan's over. He's going to have a bunch of energy now. He's going to cook.
Does Ramadan change every year?
Nope, it's just a month.
Oh, it is?
Around Easter time.
Oh, but it's not like an actual month of the calendar. It's like a...
No, I believe it is in the Arabic calendar. It is a month called Ramadan.
But not in the Gregorian calendar.
No.
I think it is it's like from the middle of one month to the middle of another type of thing.
Oh, and it's approximately Lent.
Oh,
approximately. Okay. Not exactly.
Because Lent is like 40 days, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many days a month in the Arabic calendar has.
That's true.
I just know that food and drink can only be consumed when the sun is not visible. It has to be dark out.
Yeah.
So you have big breakfast and big nighttime meal of dinner.
Yeah. Big nighttime meal.
Anyway,
I guess
now we're past the average. I'm to like coaches I think are just kind of bad now.
Yeah. I only have two names on my last two tiers. Or on my last tier.
I have like 3.
So who else have we not said?
Keith, I'm unsure. I don't know. I think Keith. He's bad because of how bad the Wizards are, but I'm like, I don't want to punish you for what you're being forced to coach.
That's exactly why I put him in that catch-all tier.
And then send them to the effing moon. I have... Honestly, go back like 3 years, people think you're crazy. I have Doc Rivers and Bud are the two coaches that I'm like, just bad. Just why?
I would not hire them. They have like things that they can do as coaches for sure. That's why they keep getting jobs. But they're not my kind of coach. Like they're not my guys. If we're doing a my guy draft of coaches, they're not. That's why they're at the bottom.
I feel like I've been very vocal of my disdain for Doc Rivers.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Not a fan.
Yeah. All right. I think that could be it. We don't really need to dive into that at all. We can look at our over-under lines from the preseason, see where we are at, basically.
But before we jump into that segment, do you want to take a quick break?
We can.
And remind folks that you can head on over to patreon.com/Hoop Theory, buy me a coffee /Hoop Theory, or check out us on any social medias, TikTok, while it's around, because I think that's still potentially up in the air, even though it's been tabled a little bit. There was some political talk. Also, you can get more stuff at Patreon. There's extra episodes that Logan does, puts in a lot of work, support the man, let him continue to cook in the editing studios of the Hoop Theory headquarters. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube. Rate the podcast if you're listening to it on literally anywhere. And also email us questions. If you want to ask us, like, why are you the way you are?
Yeah.
I don't know. My parents,
we
probably
dive
a little
into
bit of it. Yeah, we'll have a therapy session that'll only be on patreon.com /Hoop Theory that you can get if you choose to go that avenue. Anyway, and that I think will do it for our commercial. Bye.
And so looking at the preseason over-under lines for this NBA season, the Celtics, starting at the top, they are very close to hitting their... I think they will. They definitely will. They need 3 more wins. They have 7 more games to get there. I'd be surprised if they don't hit that, to be honest. But that was 58.5. I went the soft under, and you locked the over. So that will be consequential. Just to, I guess, explain it to people who haven't heard. If we get one wrong, it's -1. If we get one right, it's +1. But locks are worth 3 instead of just 1. And then stayaways are worth 0. And we were able to use 1 lock and 1 stayaway in each division as we went all the way through the NBA. So yeah, here in the Atlantic Division, the first team, Boston Celtics, 58.5, like I said. And then the Brooklyn Nets. This is crazy. Looking back,
this year's going to be so bad for me.
18.5.
I won last year. I'm not winning this year. This is bad.
Yeah. Last year was very close, I think. But yeah, you pulled it off. Am I looking at the right season right now? Yes, I am. Okay.
No, it's crazy how bad they thought the Nets were going to be. And I think we both did too.
We did, yeah. I don't know why. Now that I feel like very early in the season, I was like, wait, why did everybody talk about the Nets like they were going to be the worst team on the planet? Like, they have good players. Like, I was just kind of confused. Like, it was like, obviously this team should be wanting to win this season because they have no direction with the roster that they currently have, but they have a bunch of like rentals or like, guys that like could contribute to real teams.
Might want
exactly.
Can contribute. Yeah.
Yeah. They just
essentially,
have an
you're just like a G League team that has to play NBA teams sometimes.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of guys that are like contributors to way better teams. They're just all in the same place.
Yeah. Exactly. And they put together a real squad at the beginning of the season. They were like, I think they were like a winning team for a little bit at the beginning of the season, with Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder playing like his national team self. Was a pretty scary squad they had rolling. But yeah, 18.5 wins is what their line was on the season. We both went under on that.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. They are already well past that. They have 25 wins at the moment with, I think, about 7 games left, or 6 games left, actually, doing quick maths on their record. So they might get a couple, maybe 1 or 2 wins here to finish out the year. The Knicks are the next team. Their line was 53.5. We both went over on that. They look like they might not get there, to be honest. It'd be tough at least.
I don't think that how bad they are against good teams was kind of predicted.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like, they're really good. They don't play low. They don't play down to bad teams very often, but they really look bad against the elite of the NBA.
Yeah. How much they've struggled on defense was also a big surprise. And then also Mikal Bridges starting off the year so terribly really put them behind the 8 ball, I feel like. He's also come around, but yeah, I was just going to say that was going to be the end of my sentence.
Looked really good at the beginning of the year, and he's kind of like, he still looks really good. But a team that we'll get on to later, T-Wolves, Julius Randle's kind of got it figured out. They're a little bit spicy. Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about that when we get to them.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the Knicks 53.5 wins. Yeah, they'll need to get to 54. So that's 6 games above where they are right now. And they have, I think,
Tough.
7 games to do it. Yeah. So they have to
play
go.
The Celtics once. They play the Cavs twice.
Really? In the final stretch here, those are 3 of their 7 games?
Cavs. Let me pull up. The only reason I know this is because I know the Celtics are closing in on the Cavs at the end, so I looked at the Cavs schedule. And I believe... Yeah, they play Cleveland tomorrow, and then they play them on the 11th of April. They also have to play Boston, Detroit on the road.
Wow.
I don't think they're getting there. I would wager.
Yeah, that's going to be really hard. That's just crazy to me, that they've had such a good season for the most part, and they're still not getting to their line. It just kind of feels weird to me, but yeah.
Well, and again, I think it's just because they've lost, they just lose, weird games.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of ugly, too, a lot of the time. They played really bad against the West. I don't know what their split is, but I'd be curious to see. I don't remember what the split is off the top of my head, but I remember seeing it, and they did not play well against the West.
Yeah. It looks like it would be 16 and 13.
Because barely 500.
Their Eastern record is 32 and 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, that's not good at all. But the West is a lot better than the East. That's for sure.
That's true. As the Thunder are 28-1. Anyway.
Oh, their home record or what? 28-1?
No, their record against the East is 28-1.
Oh, that's the Thunder's record against the East?
The Thunder's record against the East.
You said that earlier. Yeah, I heard you say
Milwaukee. I don't know if that was during the recording or before.
I think it was before, I want to say.
But then they got to play the Pistons, I think. And there's a chance they just lose one time to the East until the finals.
That's crazy.
Or they get swept. Just kidding. They won't get swept. We might not even see them. Who knows?
Yeah.
Playoff basketball is a different monster, and everyone's intense, like the Thunder are all the time now. Anyway, this is going to be tough, I think. Maybe for both of us, it'll be a little ugly. Who knows?
Yeah. You're saying for the over-unders?
Yes, for the over-unders. Who knows?
So far, we are both wrong on 2, and I'm wrong on... I think I'm going to be wrong on the Celtics one, unless they just kind of choke these last 7 games.
They play the Wizards twice or something. We just talked about it earlier. I can't remember exactly who we played.
They need 4 wins to hit the line. Or 3. They need 3. They need 3, actually. So it'll definitely happen. For sure. And you locked that. So that's a huge swing. And then the Sixers, we both went stay away on the Sixers.
I wanted to do under because I'm like, Paul George is old. What am I doing? I should have done it. It's fine. Fine.
I think I might have been over. No, I was probably under because the line went down. I know that. So, and I know I wasn't stay away on them originally. So I must have been under before if their line went down and I switched to stay away.
Do you have us flipped? Were you always stay away on them and then I joined you as the stay away?
I don't know. I guess I just kind of felt like at first I had an opinion on them, but maybe not. Maybe I was stay away on them the whole time.
They're going to hit the under by effing miles.
Yeah. No, for sure. The Raptors could hit. They need 2 wins to hit their over. It's the next team. 29.5. I thought for sure this is one that I just whiffed on. I locked the over on 29.5. They're at 28 right now.
They could get there.
Yeah, they've been sliding a ton, but they could potentially, if they win 2 games in the next...
They've won 4 of their last 5.
They've won 4 of the last 5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Granted, it's against Washington, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Philly, and then lost to Chicago.
I think right before that stretch they were sliding, but because all the bottom of the East were all the teams that were in contention for the 10-11.
They went on a West road trip and struggled for sure. But yeah, it's that one will be close for sure. Looking at their schedule, what they've got to close out, definitely have some winnable games, but they're also not great. They've got Portland, Detroit, not too easy, super great games. But then they're at Brooklyn. They got Charlotte, San Antonio, and Dallas.
So they have 6 games left.
They've got 6 games. I feel like there's a world they get 2 of them.
Yeah, they definitely could.
I mean, not like a Celtics confident they get the ones they need, but there's a chance they get 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be huge as well. Because because that'll hit me, and I'll get a +3 there, and you'll get a -1 because you were soft under. Central Division got the Chicago Bulls. They had the same exact. No, they had actually a lower line. They were 28.5, and they were already over that. Yep. And I locked the under on the Bulls. That doesn't feel right at all. I feel like the Bulls were the team that I remember talking about before the season that I was like excited to watch them. But I guess it doesn't mean I thought they were going to be good.
Yeah. I think my favorite part about the Bulls is that Buzelis has turned into like, maybe this guy should have been the first overall pick. Maybe like he's very good. Which he's turned into really good. The Giddey Renaissance, like they're fun. They're very fun.
Yeah, he almost had a quadruple double. Did you see that?
Like a legit, yeah.
Yeah, he had 8 steals.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were putting him on graphics, showing him on graphics with like Wilt and Hakeem.
And Archibald.
Yeah.
Not Archibald. It's the wrong Nate. It's Nate Thurman.
Oh, Nate Thurman, yep. And Artis Gilmore, I think is the other guy. Yeah. But that would have been kind of crazy. Josh Giddey gets added into that list.
Joining that club. It's kind of like Michael Carter Williams, like having like a triple double as a rookie.
He almost had a quad double also in his first game. First game of his career.
That's what it was.
I think he had 7 steals. But he didn't have a full triple double either. He was close to a triple double and a quadruple double because he had like 7 steals and 8 assists or something like that.
Yeah.
But still,
there's another guy would say like, this is a weird person to have in this list.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so the Bulls were both under, but I locked the under on 28.5. So we're both wrong there. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I went over, you went stay away on the Cavs. Their over was 48.5. So they are well beyond that.
Yeah. I'm fine with my stay away. I don't care.
And then the Detroit Pistons, 25.5. I'm so mad at myself that I didn't just stick with because the 2 seasons before this, like the reason why I decided to just go stay away on this year, because I was like, the past 2 seasons now, I've locked their over and regretted it because they came nowhere close. So I was like, I'm done betting on good things with this team. But turns out I should have just stuck to my guns. Because
did I do over or go under?
You locked the under.
Sick.
You locked the under. I went stay away. Because I'm pretty sure their line originally, when we first looked at it, was like 20.5 or 21.5, like something really low. And I was like considering going over on it there or going stay away. And you were under. And then when their line jumped up for some reason, like right before the season started, you were like, that's a free under. Like, I was listening to this episode recently. You were like, that's a free under, brother. Like, you were trying to talk me into, like, locking it also. But yeah, so I'm glad that I stay away on that. Pistons have 42 wins. They needed 26 to go over.
They got it.
Yeah. I think they got it maybe even before the year changed. Maybe. That would have been close, because they started off the season super well.
Very strong.
Also, and then the Pacers 47.5 wins is their line, and we both went over on them.
Yeah, we kind of both were pretty high on Hallie.
Yeah,
and he's just not what he kind of exploded into being.
Yeah,
they're gonna be close for
they
sure.
Are. We need 4 wins, and they have
4
7
wins,
games
and they've
left.
got 7 games to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Charlotte, Utah, so there's 2.
Yeah.
They've got to play Denver, Washington. There's 3. Cleveland, Orlando, Cleveland.
Orlando might be 4, although they've been playing better recently.
And then, depending on if that last game of the season matters, that might be a Cleveland Dean Wade game. Like, that might be not Cleveland at full power if the first seed is not at risk. Yeah. Potentially.
No, for sure. Throwaway game.
So they'll
but
probably
also,
hit the over.
It might be a throwaway game for the Pacers too, but no, probably won't be because they'll probably have to.
Because they're going to be fighting for like who they have to go play.
Yeah.
In the second round. Or first round, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them and the Pistons and the Knicks potentially will be jockeying for position. The Bucks are all the way down at 6 now. After a rough stretch recently.
Went on a skid.
Yeah. But yeah, so Pacers might hit their over, might not. Either way, we both went soft over on them.
Also, I feel like this is like the worst possible outcome for Cleveland. You get the winner of Pistons Pacers instead of what was supposed to be the winner of Bucks Pacers. I feel
in the second round. Gotcha.
In the second round, like I feel like Detroit's the team that I don't want to see. Not because I think that either of these, like the 1 or the 2 seed, will lose to them, but more because of the like that series is going to hurt your body.
I think for the Knicks, for sure, I would be scared of the Pistons. If I'm the Celtics or the Cavs...
No, and it's not at risk of losing at all. It's just going to be those games will be... I just don't know what a playoff intensity Pistons team looks like.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to be more scared of Giannis and Dame no matter what, I feel like.
Figuring it out in the playoffs, yeah.
I would just prefer to play Detroit in that scenario.
I guess. That's fair.
That's just me. I don't think it's wrong to pick the Pistons there, especially because what you're saying. Like,
and how good they've played down the stretch.
Yeah.
Is another thing.
Yeah.
And then also there's another thing that we saw from Atlanta a couple years ago. The young, dumb team that doesn't really know what's going on and doesn't know that they should be scared of the moment can also be a very scary thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the Pistons are.
No, that's exactly what they are, yeah. So that they have that going for them as well. But the Bucks, though, their line is 50.5 games, so they needed to get to 51 to hit their over. I went under, you went stay away on them. So that's when I'll get. Yeah, it'll definitely be the under because they have 7 games left as well, and they only have 41 wins. So they need to win 10 in their next 7, which I don't think is happening. The Atlanta Hawks is the first team in the Southeast Division. I locked the under on the Hawks, and if they don't win, if they don't win any more games, it'll hit. But if they stay at 36, because it's 36 and a half.
You need them to lose out.
Yeah, right now they are technically still potentially able to do this, but I don't think they will because they just need to win one more game in their next 7 also. Yeah, they have 7 left.
Dallas, New York, that'll be a tough one. But probably not.
Wait, what are the rest?
Dallas, New York, Utah, Orlando, Brooklyn, Philly, Orlando.
Okay, they'll probably win at least one. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I feel like they'll be able to maybe sneak one out. It's a tough stretch, but I think they'll get one done.
Yeah. But yeah, so we both went under on that, though. I did lock it, though. Charlotte Hornets, I went stay away. You went normal under. Their line was 30.5, which they're far from hitting that.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. I remember being somewhat high on them when their line was 27.5 when we first looked at them. And I think I was a slight over, which still would have been wrong. But at least I was, I felt good about that. But then for some reason, right before the season started, their line jumped up to 30.5. And I was like, I can't stay on this train. We're going to crazy town.
Yeah.
So I jumped off. But I went stay away, though. So I didn't fully, go against it. Miami, their line is 43. I guess I should say the Hornets are at 19 games is what their win total is at. So
it's impossible.
Yeah, they need 12 more wins than they currently have. The Heat is the next team, 43.5, which off the top of my head, I don't think they're going to hit. Yeah,
34.
They have 34 wins, so they're far from hitting that also. Impossible at this point.
I remember right,
you locked the under.
My haterade was there. I remembered this one because you were like, that's crazy. I'm like, I hate them. They're not going to win that many games.
Yeah, I'm surprised I went over on them, though. I guess because I felt like, I know for sure I didn't feel very confident about it because that's like around what they win every year. And I'm like, And
I think that was part of it. You're like, they always get to about this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, I don't know if I just didn't.
Spo was part of it. I do remember us talking about
but the whole Jimmy Butler situation, we knew at least the beginnings of that at that point.
I don't think we knew how bad it was.
Yeah. I think in my mind, I thought that they would figure that stuff out. I thought that would not end up the way that it did every other stop of Jimmy Butler's career. But it did end up that way. So, yeah, they're not going to hit that. You're definitely going to get the edge there. You're going to need to actually count these out because if it keeps kind of going back and forth, I feel like. The Magic, 47.5 is their line. So they're 10 games or 11 games behind where they need to be at this point. I went over on that. You went stay away, which I'm kind of surprised by. I feel like you're more the Magic lover than I am, but
I am the Magic lover, but I just didn't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was also very out on Franz at the moment.
Yeah, that's
when we did that
you
episode.
Definitely were. Yeah,
and that was probably part of it.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel like if they didn't have all of those crazy injuries, maybe I'm right, but
yeah, for sure.
It's been a weird season because even when those guys came back, it's still been rough.
Took them a bit of time.
It's been a little bit better recently though, which is something to monitor, but still not in terms of this line though. That's literally impossible. So that's a done deal. Washington Wizards, though, 20.5 was their line, which they mathematically could win. They could get above that if they win 5 more games, 5 in their next.
5 of the last 6.
Do they have 6? Looks like they have 7.
I believe so.
Because 16.
It says, 7.
Yeah. So that'll be, if they go 5 and 7.
No. They have Sacramento, Orlando, Boston, Pacers, Philly, Chicago, Miami.
Those could have been any teams, and it still is like they could have played the Jazz 7 times, And
you don't think they can get 4 of them?
They need 5.
Oh, they need 5.
Yeah. Right? They need 21 wins.
Yep, they do.
So yeah, we both went soft under on that one though.
It's because my haterade was fueling me, so it was fine.
What?
That's why I went with my haterade of the
of the Heat because it took your ability to lock the Wizards under. Gotcha.
Yeah, I would have probably if I had another option. If I could do multiple locks, all or nothing.
The Nuggets is the next team, or the first team in the Northwest Division. 50.5 is their line, and this is one that I have been paying attention to, obviously. And I think they, at one point, so when there was 13 games left in the year, they needed to win 7 of those 13 games. They need to go 7-6 to hit their over. And
they need to go 4-3.
Okay, they need to go 4-3 at this point.
Because they have 7 games left, right?
Yes, I believe they do. Also, tonight, it tipped off 2 hours ago, so it might be close to over.
It is not over. That is all I will say, and I will not say anything else because I know that is part of your plans.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. But they could be. That's obviously going to come into play a lot.
It's going to be really close.
Yeah, need to win 4 more.
They've got some tough teams ahead. They're playing Minnesota tonight. They've got
Rockets is the last game of the year. I know that.
Rockets is the last game of the year. They've got Memphis, but maybe that's not a scary game anymore. The Kings, the Pacers, and the Warriors. And then San Antonio. I said that in the complete opposite order. So the order they'll play them is Minnesota, San Antonio, Golden State, Indiana, Sacramento, Memphis, Houston.
Okay. So it's a pretty it's tougher than average, I feel like. But still, like I
still
don't know.
Doable.
Yeah, it's doable for sure. The Spurs should be a win for sure. Even though they're even since they've lost Wemby, they haven't been like just pushovers. They've still been winning some games. But I think the other team, Memphis and the Rockets, I feel like that's going to be a huge game because that will also decide the tiebreaker between us.
Oh,
we're 1-1 against the Rockets this year. And that's for seeding purposes. Because the Rockets, the end of the season is very tough. I feel like they might end up falling out of the 2 seed, and if they do so, I think Denver will be the beneficiaries of that slippage. If not, Los Angeles.
Utah, OKC, Golden State, LA, Denver, and Golden State, LA is a 3-game road stretch.
Are those the 2 different LAs, or is those the same LA?
They're Clippers, Lakers.
Gotcha.
No back-to-backs, though. So there's that, I suppose.
I guess that's in their corner. I don't know if other people have back-to-backs. I think some teams do because the Lakers, I think they've already made them up at this point. but they were
because of the fires.
the fires. Yeah, there's a few games they had to make up, so they had like a few in a short period of time. But the next team though I guess I should say I locked the over on the Nuggets. You just went normal over on them. But yeah, that one will be very close. The Timberwolves line was 51.5, which I'm surprised.
Didn't I?
I'm surprised I didn't lock the under on this because I remember being very low on them in the offseason. You went over on them. They are well below that. They need 9 more wins to get there, and they have 7 games left as well. And then the Thunder 57.5 is their line. I'm glad I went over. Thinking about this like throughout the year, I remember thinking like,
did I lock their over?
No, you went stay away.
I remember I changed a bunch of stuff in the last episode just so we weren't the same.
Well, also because their line changed because it was like 55.5, and we both were like, I think we might have had the lock, or
like both locked the over.
We were at least both over on them at the very least, and then their line changed to 57.5, and then we were both like, oh, that's a little. That's tougher.
More.
Yeah. But they're well beyond that. They've got 63 games or wins already at this point. 7 games left in the year. Going to add to that number. So I will just get a measly point there and you'll get nothing. So it's not that huge of a swing, to be honest. The Blazers, 20.5 games. I went under on this. Man, I'm mad at my past self. They're already 12, 13 games above their line. You locked the under on the Blazers of 20.5. They have 33 wins at the moment with 6 games remaining for them, it looks like. The Jazz are the next team. 27.5 was their line. I went stay away, which didn't need to use my stay away there for sure. And you went under on the Jazz, so you got that one.
I was worried because I'm a big Will Hardy guy that I went over, but I was like, that just felt like a lot.
Yeah.
So
they need 12 wins to hit that line, so that's definitely not happening either. And they also have they're one of the teams with 6 games as opposed to 7 left. The Warriors are the first team in the Pacific Division. 43.5 wins was their line. I went over, and you locked the under on the Warriors.
The Steve Kerr haterade is going to burn me.
Yeah, they are at their line right now. If they win one more game, they're over, which I think they will do. And they actually are the first team so far that have 8 games left, if I'm doing math correctly. 43 plus 31.
Underway.
Oh, but your thing has them as a game past where my thing has them. So
they played a game tonight.
And you said earlier that they were at 44 wins. So they're actually over there. Yeah, so they're actually over their line already. For some reason, let me try to refresh it one more time. See if it's...
What are you looking on?
Google. It's just the...
Oh, I always use ESPN for standings. I like how they break it up more.
Yeah. Oh, now it has it. It's 44 wins for them. Oh, and so the Grizzlies also lost.
Yep.
Okay. Because I was going to say before, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. If the Warriors won, they still wouldn't be a half game ahead of the Grizzlies. They would be tied.
But they played the Grizzlies.
Oh, they played against each other. Okay.
I think so.
I mean, you're probably right. The only teams I knew for a fact that were facing each other tonight are the Nuggets and the Timberwolves.
Which the scores, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding you. I wouldn't do that.
Hopefully, do you know if Jokic is playing? He was probable, but because that changes things entirely. If Jokic isn't playing, then I don't care about that game at all. But if he was, then I very much do. Might be the game I care about most out of all games this regular season.
He is playing.
He is playing? Okay. And it looks like he's having a night by your reaction.
He might be. He is playing.
Does he have a triple-double at the moment?
That he does not.
Okay. But it is in the third quarter, I believe, right?
It is the fourth quarter, 9 minutes left.
Oh, okay. It's farther along than I thought. Then the next team, I guess... Well, yeah, because that Warriors one, that's going to be a big swing. Big-ish. I remember when, for a fact, I do remember this, when you switched it to a lock on the under for the Warriors, I was very tempted. I even said that I was kind of wanting to just complete reverse you and go lock on the over.
Yeah.
But I ended up feeling way too good about the Phoenix Suns, which I'm jumping down a little bit. But that was the team I used my lock on the over for the Suns at 47.5 wins. You went normal over, but neither of us are going to get a point there.
Yeah.
Seeing as they have 35 wins at the moment, and they only have 6 games left. The Clippers, though, are the next team. 37.5.
Am I stay away?
You went stay away, yep. 37.5 was their line, which they are already well beyond that at 43 games, 43 wins. I went under, though, on the Clippers for some reason. I mean, I guess it does make sense.
Not knowing who's going to be available or playing. Yeah. And then we also both thought that James Harden was not going to be like good teammate James Harden.
Norm Powell, like scoring 23 points a game, was also not on my bingo card for this season.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't think Jeff Van Gundy was going to concoct one of the best defenses in the league. I didn't think that he still had that up his sleeves after sitting in the TNT booth for like 20 years or whatever. Not 20, but 10 years.
He did it. He did it.
Yeah, he did it. That is for sure. If assistant coach of the year was an award, it'd probably go to Jeff Van Gundy this season. Not even saying that like it should go to him. I just mean as like I would bet that it would go to him based off of like the amount of narrative or like,
that's true.
Talk people have done about him.
That's very true.
And then the Sacramento Kings, or no, the Lakers are next. Yeah. 42.5 wins is the Lakers line. This is the same as the Clippers, but flipped around. So you are under and I was stay away. 42.5. So they're already over that by 4 or 5 games. 3 games actually. And yeah, I don't know why I went stay on the Lakers. I guess it makes sense because they're a big question mark as well. Now they have Luka. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If you would have transported that, it told us that when we were doing this, probably
would have locked the over, I'd wager.
Probably. Yeah, that would be insane to hear.
Granted, though, if you just gave us that info and not what the trade was, we probably would have assumed that they were nuked and it was just Luka. Like we probably would have assumed that like Austin Reeves and AD were gone.
No, to be honest, I would have been like, I probably would have been like, I have no idea. Yeah, you're right. Like Reeves would probably have been in the trade that we would have made up, but I still would have been like, there's no way. Like that is so because the Lakers had 2 draft picks to their name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't make a Luka Doncic deal that has, and they didn't even put both of them in the deal.
Yeah, we've gone ad nauseum about how stupid Nico Harrison is. I don't know if we need to keep doing it.
I've thought about it. Like I've honestly, at one point I was like, I feel like you could just start a podcast or start like a whole show, YouTube channel, just centered around that trade. That could be the only content you make for the rest of your life. I could do it. You know what I mean? That's how stupid of it. You don't know what I mean? You couldn't. There's so many angles you could attack that from. That's just like it's
stupid.
Yeah, but it's something that never happens. Find me a comparison.
No, you're right. It doesn't happen because it's stupid.
Yeah, any sport. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's very true. Look at the alchemy he performed.
Man.
But yeah.
Nico, opposite of MVP. He gets the not MVP. Yeah. LVP. There you go. The Phoenix Suns, though, I already said that for 7.5 wins. They're not going to do that. The Kings 44.5 is their line, which they're also not going to do. They're at 36 wins right now.
Yeah. What'd I say?
Oh, you're bracing yourself for that. You went over, actually.
I knew I would.
Yeah. And I went under. So that was good. Good foresight by me, I guess. It's just probably a guess, to be honest. It probably
moments after you said I walked the Phoenix over. Good foresight by me.
Yeah. You got to take your wins where you get them.
Where you can get them.
Yeah. The Mavericks. I feel really good about this one. I locked the under on the Mavericks. at 50.5 games. 50.5 wins. They're at 37 at the moment, with 6 games remaining.
Get there.
Yeah, so they're
that just regular under?
You went over.
Fucking hate myself.
Yeah.
I knew before when you texted this, I was like, I really don't want to do this because I know it's going to be really ugly, but I just have to do it.
It's not that bad compared to. I feel like we're somewhat close. I
didn't realize how comparably oofs we had. How we both had some that were like, ooh. But I just knew that there were some teams that I was really out on that are playing really good. And then vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah. I just was on the sole concept of like the Mavericks having the same line as the Nuggets to me. I was like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
That's basically all my analysis was on that. Was like, why is this even a thing? That's why I locked the under on the Mavericks, because I was like, I don't think that that's going to happen this year. And also Kyrie, I thought that Kyrie had the season, which technically I'm proven right now, but Achilles injury isn't what I had in mind, or an ACL tear or whatever he had.
Yeah.
I was thinking that last year was a kind of lightning in a bottle with Kyrie just having
he looked really, really, really good.
Yeah. No, so I don't even think I'm really right there.
But
it's just like a broken clock is right twice a day.
2 times a day. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Rockets, 42.5 wins was their line, which they are well beyond. We both went over. You locked the over.
Woo-hoo!
So congratulations on that one. The Grizzlies, they need 4 wins, and then they have 6 games to do it.
And those 6 teams, Miami?
They have the Nuggets once for sure.
Yeah, so on the road, a 3-game road stretch, Miami, Detroit, and Charlotte.
Okay.
Ideally, we'll say they go 2-1.
Ideally, they could get all 3 of those.
They could.
Miami's kind of garbage now.
Detroit was the one that I thought that they would.
Oh, you said Detroit in there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Miami, Detroit, and Charlotte.
I think my brain chemistry is still that's one of the words I hear, and I think garbage East team, like without even thinking like who it is.
Yeah. Then they play Minnesota, then they play Denver, and then they end with Dallas.
Okay, so we'll be pretty tough.
It'll be close, doable for sure.
Yeah,
but close.
Yeah, there's 2 guaranteed wins in there, basically, but not
2.5.
Nothing's
if you
guaranteed.
Count like Dallas as a half.
Oh yeah,
a half a guarantee.
Mm-hmm. But AD's back and playing.
That's true. And why did they have this weird thing that has AD worn a regular Mavericks jersey yet, or has he only worn that weird white one? Because the first game he played, they were wearing that all white Mavs jersey, and then he got hurt. And then his first game back, they were also wearing that white Mavs jersey.
I think I've seen him in the black one, honestly.
Okay, because I just have not. I think I've only watched those 2. His first game, and his first game back from injury. So yeah. Anyway, that's not that important, but it's just weird to me.
Yeah. Can you still see me right now? I'm just
yes, sir.
Okay. My monitor shut off. I don't know what happened.
Ooh.
I'm turning it back on right now. It's cooking up.
It's severe weather season, and you're supposed to get it worse than I am.
Oh.
Well, it's actually supposed to be worse to the south and east, like Missouri and Oklahoma and Kansas.
Yeah, not necessarily.
I think OKC's like in the kind of center of it, much further south of you.
I've got you back now, though. I can see your face. For Naders. Anyways, where were we? We
were talking about. We were just wrapping up the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay, so you were stay away on them. I was over on the Grizzlies at 47.5. Wait,
maybe we were on the Mavericks because I don't.
We were on the Grizzlies.
It was the Grizzlies.
But we were talking about because they play the Mavericks.
Yes, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the Grizzlies.
But I went over on them they need to get to 48, so that's gonna be tough. But you would stay away, so it doesn't matter either way. Pelicans, I went stay away on the Pelicans. 45.5 wins was their line.
No.
You went over on the Pelicans.
No.
21 games is what they're at right now. 21 wins.
Yeah, and they'll end at 21 wins.
Probably. They have 7 games left, but
I don't even want to check who they are, because unless it's the Wizards, they won't win.
Honestly. because they did shut down Zion officially.
Zion's done.
I think
someone else is done. CJ McCollum's also done.
Yep, CJ.
So they're just going to be...
was done a long time ago because he tore his Achilles, I think, or his ACL. I always can't remember which one is which when... I mean, I know anatomically...
Both are bad.
Yeah, I know anatomically which ones they are, but I can't ever remember which players get which ones
done what.
Torn. Yeah.
Kobe tore his Achilles and then shot the free throws.
Yeah. That's
Kyrie
for sure.
also, I think, tore his Achilles and then shot the free throws.
I think he tore his ACL this year.
I thought it was his Achilles and shot the free throws because that's the only reason I think I got brought up because Kyrie and Kobe both did it.
Yeah, but you might also... you might be right, but I feel like it was a torn ACL, I want to say. Pretty sure.
Oh, he tore his ACL but got carried to the free throw line to shoot the free throws.
Yeah, he still shot the free throws. I was just saying that
it was ACL. You are correct. I'm a silly goose.
Still a Mamba moment.
Oh, I thought you said who's next.
What?
Nothing. I had a brain lapse.
Contusion
of sorts.
The Pelicans, 45.5 wins is not going to happen in their wildest dreams.
I don't even know if that'll happen this year, next year combined.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Could not. Who knows? The Spurs, though, are the next team. 35.5 is their line, which is technically doable, but I don't think it will happen because they need 5 wins, that means, in the next 7 games. And that's not a thing that this team seems like they're going to do without Victor Wembanyama. But maybe Steph Castle make it a Rookie of the Year push to try to secure that award for himself in this last stretch. Maybe he just goes crazy. They've got Denver now, obviously.
Denver, then Cleveland, then Portland, then the Clippers, then they play Golden State, and then they end with Phoenix and Toronto. I don't think that the Spurs are going to win.
They might not win another game, to be honest. Maybe Toronto.
Maybe Toronto.
Maybe.
Portland.
Maybe.
Also, did I mention all of those games except for Cleveland are on the road?
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of... Spurs are done for the season, that's for sure.
Essentially. But they got Mamu. My boy Mamu.
Kavashvili, who set the record for the most points in a game without playing 20 minutes.
20, yeah, because he had like 35, didn't he?
34, yeah. In I think 17 minutes or something like that.
He might be on the My Guys draft. Like outside of that like crazy outburst. One, he's got a great nickname, Mamu. That's a great.
Yeah.
He's just happy. He wears a football number on a basketball court. Also,
wait. Don't tell me it. 54?
It is 54.
Is it? Okay.
Wears a football number on a basketball court, and he just kind of messes around and finds out. I don't know. I just like him.
Yeah.
He's just funny.
I always kind of liked him on the Bucks, to be honest.
I think the weird disproportionate, like how his beard is the same size as the rest of his head. He's got like a kind of small head and his beard is huge. So it's like, what's going on there? Anyway.
Where's he from?
I have no idea.
I feel like he's from like the Georgia, Azerbaijan area, somewhere like that, I think.
According to this, Seton Hall.
Yeah, he went to school in Seton Hall. But
let me pull up.
Yeah, I think he's from that kind of corridor in between the Caspian and the Black Sea. Right? I think
Georgia.
He is from Georgia? Okay.
He is from Georgia.
So him and
Tbilisi.
Oh yeah, it's the capital, I believe. Or the biggest city,
Tbilisi. Mm-hmm. The capital is Atlanta, you stupid idiot.
Goga Batadze, are their countrymen at the moment in the NBA.
Cool. At the moment, because it'll be Russia soon. Just kidding.
In which case, they would still be countrymen, right?
Not if it gets like split in half.
Oh, that's true. And they're from different halves, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, shout out to Mamu.
Yeah. He might come up again, I guess, in our guys draft. Yeah. But that's gonna do it for this final. I think you probably win this year.
Guessing. You've got a couple that could go wrong. Like a couple of your locks could go wrong, but mine just already have.
Yeah.
Because in the East, I had a 1 lock advantage on you. But in the West, I think I went over. And
you have the Houston Rockets.
So I'm 1 and 2 in the West. And there's a chance that you go 3-0. But there's also a chance that you go 1 and 2 as well. I think.
No, I lost the Suns already. I did win the Mavericks though.
So it's 1-2 or 2-1.
Yeah, the Nuggets are a maybe, but I think they probably will.
They probably will, but there's a chance. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they don't.
Yeah, for sure. And Atlanta, technically, I have the ability, but I don't think that one.
I thought that was one that we were pretty confident was a no. I thought.
Oh yeah. I mean, just saying mathematically, if they just don't win at all the rest of the season, it's a possibility. But anyways, yeah, that could be it for today's episode. This was a pretty long. Actually, no, it was kind of our normal length. Actually, spoke too soon on that one. It just feels like it's been a while. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing, in between. You look like you're going to say something.
We were a little bit late starting. We started recording a little later.
That's for sure.
And then also, I feel like there wasn't as much random tangents. So it was like
stayed on track. Mm-hmm.
So usually 2 topics is like a little bit shorter than this.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's messing with your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It was just 2 big, meaty topics.
Yeah. I should just bring you around everywhere and have you explain to me why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling all the time.
I feel like I'm the wrong person to do that.
You did a good job there.
A broken clock's right twice a day.
Yeah. So that's where we could end this one, though. It's a pretty good spot to end. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. Stay happy. Stay healthy. We'll talk to you guys next episode.
Peace.
Oh, that was a quiet one.
It was a quiet one. Have you heard the LeBron songs? I should have done this as that kind of cold open.
Start recording again, I guess.
I never stopped.
Okay, cool. All right.
Have you heard these? These LeBron songs?
You showed me the one, right?
That's the best one by miles.
Yeah. I was driving in my car, I was door dashing, and I started playing that. And I was like, this is genuinely. I started watching it. I was like, this is it's art. It's undeniable art. You know?
Dude, so a lot of them suck, and they're just like, I want to make a song about LeBron James, and they suck. Mm-hmm. But then this song, it's so good. It's I kind of know the words of it. I just got to get into it. Oh, they've got Luka Don, A. Reeves. Never heard that, but now I want to call him A. Reeves all the time. A. Reeves and then LeBron, the real big 3.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up AD because they needed change. So you got, and the way he gets gravitas and gravel in his voice, man on the Lakers. Give it a goog. If
probably
listeners
insert it. I'll probably play the audio for it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, instead of me singing it, that'd be so good. But it just it started. It's at 46 seconds if you listen to the whole song, but it's just that verse. Just is it's just good. It's just good. The rest of them suck though.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that's Ocean Eyes, and it's weird. I feel like this is what this person has
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, but it's instead of Ocean Eyes, it's LeBron Eyes or something. It's weird. There's a bunch of these LeBron songs, and most of them suck. But Man on the Lakers is good, very good.
No, it's good. That's the only one I've heard, to be honest.
I'm glad.
I heard the one you sent me, but I heard other versions of that same one later. But I haven't heard any other ones. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my algorithms, but I get 3 of those a day. And I loved it when it was the Man on the Lakers. I don't like any of the other ones because I don't like LeBron that much. It's not a thing that I love. But
he's not in our guys' draft. He won't be in our guys' draft.
I might have just watched the Man on the Lakers video so many times and shared it with so many people that the algorithm's this is what he wants, and it's not. I just wanted that, just that one.
Yeah, no, for sure. By the way, did you see the Jokic? He made another full court shot.
I did.
Yeah, there's a floater.
Weird.
Pretty sure he's the only one to make 2 this season, at least beyond half court. I need to check on that. That might be close to a record. Because. Looking through, there's only 2 or 3 people who've gotten 3 on their career beyond half court shots made. And
I feel
Jokic
16 Curry definitely hit a couple.
Yeah, Jokic has 2 this season. That's just kind of insane.
No, it is. But I feel I might be wrong, but I feel like Curry that year where he was like
he might have had
16,
2 in the same year. Yeah,
might have had at least 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, I thought that was crazy. Giddy's half-court shot to win the game, that was also crazy.
12 of those points were on our boy LeBron, actually. Like, the Giddey 3 in the corner, it was Kobe White in the corner, off of the Giddey steal. All of these things were on LeBron. LeBron's the one that turned the ball over on the inbounds.
Yeah.
He's the one that tried to, like, make up and play the defense, shots over him. Then the Giddey, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. That game was fun. The Chicago Bulls are fun.
Yeah, ever since they traded Levine, which they were fun with Levine, to be honest, in my opinion at least. They've been even more fun now. Yeah,
just
for sure.
Because there's no rules. It's like my older brother's gone. There's no structure. This is chaos.
Vooch is the only adult.
We're just gonna sprint at you all the time, but we're not as good as the Thunder. Stop us. We dare you. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Also, Jokic's pass against the Bucks. I'm kind of going rapid fire here with just some things, but yeah, that was just filthy. Some people are calling it like the best pass ever.
Oh, that's fair. The spin to the Bucks, that's up there for sure.
Yeah, it was nasty. I just kind of surprised by that take, but
they say it's the craziest all time. No, but that will be on like NBA clips for forever.
I feel it should be. There's a few at least that I feel like he's had that are better, but I care a lot about like the functionality of the pass. You know what I mean? Like it was a pretty easy cutting Aaron Gordon to hit. Like the Bucks did a terrible job of guarding it, but like the way he delivered it was just so filthy because of how he throws it over, perfectly places it over Brook Lopez's big dumb head.
Actually, that might not even be the best pass of this year. But the reason that the best pass of the reason the best pass of the season is not talked about is because stupid Miles Bridges missed the 3. Where Cat caught it.
Mikal Bridges, then. That's his Cat's teammate. Mikal Bridges is not Miles Bridges.
Not Miles Bridges.
I was thinking you were talking about a LaMelo pass because
it's at the top of the key. Cat gets it, and then dribbles once, and then does that thing where he catches it between his legs, and then zings it at mock fuck to the corner, and then they missed the 3. It sucked. It was a great pass though.
It was a good pass, yeah. Great. I would say great, yeah.
Why did I'm sorry, we're recording this just at Mach 11.
No,
just
I'll
to the corner.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably censor it, but I'll...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call fast.
I thought it was funny.
But no, that's a fun... Maybe you could throw in that clip, too, if that's not too terrible to find. The Cat... I'll try and find the play. Cat, fancy pass.
Yeah. I honestly would probably take the Jokic... from the top of the wing, over his head, dart to Christian Brown's shooting pocket in the corner perfectly without ever looking that direction at all on the play, ever once. I'd probably put that over that one. That might be my top pass of the year. And that's also one that kind of just went by the wayside. Everybody would, it was a highlight, but it wasn't talked about near as much. But I think that one's more impressive because he just he throws it backwards over his head, basically. He throws the textbook, most difficult pass to make and does it in a way that, most people shouldn't pass ever. You shouldn't deliver a pass over your head, hardly ever. But he delivers literally the hardest pass you can.
Being able to see where you're throwing the basketball tends to help. Mm-hmm. Tends to.
And he put it in such a spot that Christian Brown had, a no-dip 3 from the corner, basically. Yeah.
Those also, respectfully, if someone would put together a montage of those threes, they're just
no dips. Yeah.
Oh my!
They're so satisfying.
There's one from Sam Hauser in the playoffs that I think of regularly. Where I'm just
Nick Batum has quite a few of them.
Nick Batum has a weird amount of them.
Yeah. Bojan Bogdanovic has a few.
Also, did you know this stat? I think it was 2 years ago. Buddy Hield, when he didn't dribble, was an 85% three-point shooter. When he didn't dribble, if he just caught it,
catch and shoot, you're saying?
Yeah, momentum shoot, 85%. If he dribbled, 11%.
What was the sample? Is this just in 1 year?
I think it was 2 seasons ago. Buddy Hield
for a season.
for a season. Or maybe it was just like a half a season. I'm not sure. But there was like a decent chunk of time. I thought you were saying
like his career for a second. I was like, what?
That'd be even crazier. Yeah. Because then coaches would be like, buddy, if you dribble, I am pulling you. Just shoot the fucking three.
That doesn't even make sense. That's insane. That's an insane number. 85%.
If he did not dribble. But he like always does that weird little like, I'm Steph Curry, dribble once to the right and then shoot. Instead of just like catch and shoot.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Anyway, I think that should do it. We already did the outro. I don't know if you'll plug this in before the outro or if you're just going to leave it.
Magic
Maybe
happen.
It'll be a cold open. Who knows? But one thing I do know, this year's playoffs is going to suck. I'm not that excited, actually.
Why?
I'm just kidding. Let's
unpack that a little bit.
No, I was joking. I'm being sarcastic. This year's playoffs is going to be pretty effing electric, I'd imagine. The West has a lot of fun rock, paper, scissors things. The East also kind of does, but not really. Like, it's going to be Cavs, Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. And if KP's healthy, the Celtics will get to defend their title, is the way that I feel about it.
That's fair.
The West is a lot more, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, and the play-in teams are way more dangerous in the West. In the East, they're like, why are you even here?
The Bulls, though. The Bulls, there's no big brother. We're just going to run at Mach 10 and just...
I don't think they're winning a playoff series, but yeah. That would be...
I guess, they're going to be playing the Celtics or Cavs. They will not. Yeah. But maybe the Cavs suck and the Bulls are just like, this would be really funny. It'd be funny if we did this.
But maybe, maybe this is the worst thing that could... No, because they don't even have their pick. No, they do. They do this season. I believe, right?
Bulls?
Yeah, because they actually made sure they got it where
that was part of it.
Yeah, they were probably going to get it anyways, but they made sure that for sure that they do. Anyways, yeah, I don't know how to close out this section because I don't know where it's gonna go, but maybe we'll put it in the little break we had in the middle. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
this is at the end. Though. It's almost midnight.
Yeah, go back to wherever you are going to, listener of the show, whether that be the end of the show, the start of
middle or end,
or the middle.
Cue the music.
Bye-bye. All right.
Anyway.